and there is none else. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. You may be seated in the presence of the Lord. I want to talk to you today about protection in the darkness. Protection in the darkness. God is God all by himself. He don't need you. He don't need me. He don't need your opinion, your talents, your gifts, your money, your power, your abilities, or your suggestions. Regardless if you don't like God or not, he is still God all by himself. But as children of the Most High God, we start acting and living as if God owes us something. We start treating God like, God, you're not fair, and you ain't doing me right. We start complaining about our lives. We get stuck in depression. We start giving credit to the devil. We start changing who God made us to be. We allow other people's opinion to damage us, to hurt us. We become broken people because of temporary issues. We allow our pain to confuse us, to throw us off track. We stumble over things that we should see. We stay bound over things we should have power over. And then we have the nerve to get angry and ask the question, where is God? Get upset. Why is he allowing me to go through this? Why can't I move forward? We are perplexed. We are crushed. We are weighed down and in the dark. And instead of moving ahead, we're groping and grasping, hoping for a miracle or a quick handout. We throw pity parties and invite everybody else to come party with us, so that we can wallow in our misery. Come hang out and see how miserable my life is. Because if you see how miserable my life is, you can see how miserable my God is. Because how can you declare God is good, but your life is so miserable? How can you be so bitter, but God be so great? Amen. How can your life be a failure if God never fails? How can you be so broken if God is the one who put you together? If he's the potter and you're the clay, why hasn't he fixed your pieces? Why are you still depleted? Why are you still messed up? Why do you still have trust issues? Why are you so rejected? It's because you are in a dark place. We get stagnant and messed up on these trials and tribulations. We become cold-hearted and distant. So cold-hearted and distant, can't nobody love you. You don't even want to be loved. You don't even want to be loved. You reject love. Then complain about not being loved. Can't find nobody, then you say you don't want nobody. See, somebody, I'm single for, I want to be single. Then complain about being single. I wish I had somebody who knew. But we have family we haven't forgiven. Friends we haven't forgiven. Churches we haven't forgiven. If we tell the truth, we haven't forgiven our past, we haven't forgiven ourselves. And if some of y'all are deep, truthful is, you haven't forgiven God. Amen. God, why'd you take my loved one? Why'd you take mama? Why'd you take my husband? Why'd you take my wife? Why'd you take my godfather? Why'd you take my best friend? The truth of the fact is, some of us are in a dark place because we haven't been truthful with God and said, God, I'm angry with you. Oh, y'all didn't come for a real sermon today. But I come by to tell you that God is not an accidental God. Everything God does, he does with purpose. He does not accidentally let trials and tribulations slip into our minds and our lives. He's not some absent-minded babysitter and just, oh, I didn't even know you was over there. Hey, wait a minute. God deliberately leads us into trials, and sometimes the furthest of trials, but for very specific reasons. He does not waste suffering. He's not some crazy madman who gets sick pleasure in inflicting his own children. Every time we experience something, you gotta think, why am I going through this? If it was handcrafted by God, what is God trying to teach me, even if I'm in the dark place? I stopped by to tell you that sometimes God does his best work in the dark. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think can't nobody see you, but I come to declare you, God can see you no matter how dark it gets in your life. David declared, listen in Psalms 139 in verse 7, he said, whether shall I go from thy spirit, or where shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up to heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I should say, surely darkness shall cover me, even in the night there shall be light about me. Here the darkness hideth not from me, but the night shineth as day. The darkness and the light are both alike to you. You don't understand, God don't know no light, no dark. They're the same to God. So just because you're in a dark place, don't get it twisted as God has forgotten you in the dark. God sees you whether you're in the light or in the dark. Why is that? Because God is the light. Nighttime might affect us. Nighttime affects us. Some of y'all don't drive at night because you can't see that good. Oh, no amen right there.
Yes, Lord.
Amen. Some of y'all don't see that good during the day, so you don't. See that good at night, so you got to take, some of y'all ran over some stuff, but they didn't stop to see what it was. Driving at night, there's some cats and dogs still on the side of the road. Guess y'all just want to tell the truth, man. But I come to tell you that the darkness is a blessing at times. Now, some of us are afraid of the dark. Let's tell the truth. We're here. Ron is still afraid of the dark. Felicia's afraid of the dark. Sterling's afraid of the dark. When you were young and you were afraid of the dark, mom or somebody put a nightlight in there. Because the nightlight don't burn up the bill. You thought mama cared about you. Mama was trying to save electricity. Put in this nightlight. We ain't turn on that regular light. But just that little bit of light helps some of your kids go to sleep, right? And some of us turn the TV on. Oh man, some of us still to this day have to have TV on in order to go to sleep. I can't get too clapped up in here. To this day. Because even though I'm asleep, I don't want it to be completely dark. There has to be a little bit of light in the room. But sometimes darkness is not just the absence of light. Sometimes darkness starts within. Some of us have darkness in our mind. Our mind is so negative that we can't see the light in any situation. Some of us have darkness in our heart. We so mean, we so bitter because we mistrust other people. Some of us have darkness in our relationship. We don't know how to love because we were never shown how to love. So we reject it and we make it look like it's evil. But I stopped by to help somebody if you understood that darkness was created by God and light was created by God because all things were created. Watch this. If you didn't know this, darkness was created before light. That's why he had to say, let there be light. Because darkness was already here first. I'm going to help somebody here. We're going to walk through this thing right here. Now watch this. In 1 John 1 and 5, it has a message for us. Amen. It declares, look at that God is the light, and in him there is no darkness at all. I wish I could just stop there, Lord, but I can't. Because in verse 6 it says, well, if we say that we have fellowship with him and walk in the darkness, we lie and we do not do the truth. But if we walk in the light as he is in the light, we have fellowship one with another, and the blood of Jesus Christ, his son, cleanses us from all sin. So if Jesus is the light and God is the light, you should automatically know who's the light by the fellowship. Why are we supposed to be the light, but we fight against one another? No, that ain't the light. That's the darkness of Satan that got your heart messed up and blinded like that, making you think that people is your enemy. No, the Bible declares that we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Ain't none of y'all my enemy, because ain't none of y'all got a place you can put me. And just because you stop messing with that person, the devil will come in another person. I ain't messing with that person no more. The devil don't care who he uses. And if you stop messing with that person, he'll find somebody else you deal with. And until you learn the lesson that maybe it's a character flaw in me, maybe God want me to learn something for why that person attacked me in that manner. So you stop messing with that person, and the rejection or hurt kept coming in other ways, and you just thinking, oh, it's for people. No, it's God trying to show you that in a dark place, He wants you to learn something. He's the Father of lights. Trying to show you, teach you. Darkness came in your life for a reason. You complaining, Lord, but it's dark, and I can't see. It's dark. I want to help somebody else here, right here. That means your enemies can't see either.
Yes, Lord.
If you can't see, that means your enemies can't see either. And there is sometimes God allows darkness in your life because there's somebody trying to kill you, but they can't find you because it's too dark.
Yes, Lord.
You best believe that David would have been dead if it wasn't for God covering him in the darkness of the wilderness. God has a way of making it so dark that the very person who wants to destroy you can't find you. And while you complaining about being in the darkness, you don't know that's the only thing that spared your life. Some of you went to jail because jail was the only thing that was going to spare your life. Some of you lost everything because losing everything was the only thing that was going to spare your life. What you call suffering, God said, I will spare you by my grace and mercy. Because if you had not went to that, the other option was the grave. The only other option was the grave. Because the dark place I put you in had a purpose. The dark place I put you in was so that you could grow. You know, God is so cold that the earth does something different when it's nighttime. Do you know the earth heals and our body heals at night? God is so cold, He could have made the sun stay up 24 hours a day. And made it light all the time. We wouldn't know what darkness was. But God does some stuff in our bodies at night that can't be done during the day. Let me give you one example. There's a hormone called melatonin. Some people call it the Dracula hormone because it only comes out in darkness. Watch this. Some of us who are used to the light are stopping the very hormone that protects us when there's all darkness. When it's all darkness, this is released. And this fights diseases, it fights cancer cells. But when we have to have that little bit of light on, our Dracula hormone will be like, I can't show up. I want to show up and fight. But they need the light to go to sleep. So that's why even in pure darkness when you sleep, God does some healing in your physical that you didn't even know. But we don't want to be in the dark because we can be able to see a shadow. Okay, all right. But God set up your immune system to where you need the night to heal and repair. And some of us is back crazy right now because we don't get the proper sleep. That's why He made day and night. He meant you to be a creature to go to sleep when it is not. But because of artificial light, the invention of artificial light, we live in a world that's 24/7. And so now we're constantly on the go, taking cat naps and all that. But that's why we can't properly heal. That's why we got all these disorders, all these diseases, because our body was meant to heal itself. When you get proper sleep, your body will act different if you get 8 hours of sleep. You think online, ask any doctor, ask any son. You get 8 hours of sleep and watch how your body start healing itself. Most of the stuff, you don't need these pills and all this stuff the doctor trying to get you. You just need to take care of yourself and sleep. I looked at this. It says that when you go to sleep and keep the light on, this blew my mind off because you know I like watching TV too. It said that you are more likely to catch a cold when there's light in your room. Now, how many of us have been sick already? But this corona, y'all done forgot that other sicknesses still didn't exist. So every time your nose runs, you be like, that's the wrong. Oh, Lord, I got a booger, Jesus, it's the wrong. You scared. truth is, you can't leave here till God says so. You can't leave here till God says so. Man, it makes no sense. Some people get shot 17 times and live. Some people get shot one time and die. Some people get cancer and live. Some people get cancer and die. There is no understanding. But all I know is that God put me here, and while I'm here, I'm going to give God some praise no matter whether I'm in a dark place, whether I'm in the light. God, because I understand that if you put me here, you must want me here for a reason. Kiki just left with me. Kiki gave me an example. She said, listen, what I thought was a bad thing, me being in a shelter, ended up being a blessing because I met Amani, and had I not met Amani, I never would have came to work on this day. And me coming here, I found my church, I found my pastor, I found each and every one of y'all, but I had to go to a place I didn't want to go to meet somebody I did not know, to find my church home. Look, you never know what God is going to do through you. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who's going to help you. You don't know who you may help, because God is the type of God who will put you in a dark place just so you can be the light for somebody else. Somebody else in the dark needs to see you. Like, wait a minute. It's dark, but there goes somebody shining. There goes somebody with a praise in them. There goes somebody with a smile on their face. How is all the stuff that we're going through, how are you still excited about anything? For anybody to have a smile in 2021 with all the hell we went through in 2020, and you can still stand on your feet and declare, even though I went through this, God is still good. Faithful. God is still faithful. I don't care. God is still righteousness. God is still truth. That if God allowed it to happen, that must mean it must going to work out for my good. I got nothing to complain about, because even though I went through something, it taught me something, and it brought me to a different place. And what could not kill me made me strong. Didn't kill me. Made me stronger. What are you saying, Deacon Jackson? I'm saying that the darkness produces some stuff that you wouldn't have got in the light. What did it do? Number one, it forced me to rely on God and build my faith. Number two, it produced patience. Listen what it says in James 7. My brother, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith work in patience. But let patience have no perfect work, that you may be perfect and tired, wanting nothing. Listen, the more you endure, the more you become like Christ. Number three, it makes you ready to comfort others. How can you comfort somebody if you ain't ever been through nothing? Number four, it helps you to know God personally. God is not a distant God. God is a personal God. So I got to get to know God for myself. But the truth is, when I read this scripture, it messed me up. I said, God creates evil. Y'all see that? Anybody see that? I told you 78% of y'all was going to be told. I said, huh? I said, what? I had to stop. I know you make the light in the darkness. It said, God created evil, and I got all the way told up empty. I said, huh? Wait a minute. This is out there. So you know me, I got to go to prayer and fast, and I got to go into study. Amen? And I love God, because some of y'all book in the kingdom might not have King James, might have a different word there. Right? So the word used that in Hebrew is a word called ra. Right? And it does not mean moral evil. Okay? So God does not use moral evil like evil to sin. God uses a word that is translated as calamity. Amen. God uses calamity. God will create calamity in your life to bring you out. God ain't going to let you stay in your mess. God will create some stuff which he will give Satan permission. Now, he won't promote it. I wish you better know it. But he will give Satan permission to do some stuff to you, just like the Job, in order to bring out the righteousness and truth that is in you and to turn you back to him. Because God wants what's best for each and every one of us. And when he sees us straying away, and sometimes we all stray. So sometimes we all lose that fire that we once had for God. Sometimes we all slip. Anybody here got saved and never made no mistakes? We all slip. We all have some issues. We all have some lack of faith things. But I want to show you a demonstration real quick of what God taught me. Let me see somebody who really good. Who trusts me enough to come up here? Don't nobody trust me. Andrew, he's up there. Come on, you did such a good job here. I'm here. Anybody got a good old towel or shirt, something I can make a blindfold over real quick? Got something, I got a shirt in my office, but stay down. Stay down. And I need somebody from the hood who can tie a good blindfold around him. Rob, come here, Rob. You done tied a couple people up, Rob. Oh, yeah. Okay, she got something. Rob, put this blindfold on him and make sure he can't see. Take them glasses out. Now, how many people can spot a cheater? If y'all think you can be cheating, y'all make sure he cannot cheat. I want y'all to look at him hard. Make sure he ain't cheating.
Is it on the left or the right side?
Andrew, can you see? All right, Rob. Rob, turn him around 3 times. And then when you finish, put him in whatever direction you want to. All right? Okay. Everybody quiet. Everybody quiet. Andrew, I want you to find your way back to your seat.
Hey, I'm like that. I like that.
Now, how many of y'all think he can see, or was he totally blind? What y'all think?
Hey. Hey.
Now watch this. Give God praise real quick. Hold on. Give God praise. Hold on. This is Andrew. Now watch this. Now watch this. Stay up here, Andrew. Stay up here. I want you to see what you look like when you let the devil blind you. Some people's blindfold was their job. Some people's blindfold was their job. Some people blindfold with drugs. They got addicted to drugs. Some people was lust. You start praising the wrong stuff and the wrong spirit got entangled with you. Some of y'all was money. Your love for money blinded you until you could no longer see what God was trying to show you. Some of y'all was power. Trying to make it to a place where you can tell people I told you so. Some of y'all was fame, trying to be like the people you see in the magazines and on TV. That you abandoned your posts. I don't know what caused darkness in your life but blinded you. But it made it hard for you to get back where you were. It made it hard for you to get back to the loving person that God created you to be. It make it hard for you just to begin to trust people again because I'm walking around in the darkness and in the blindness. But listen, even though he had a blindfold around his eyes, the room was full of light. And that's what God is to us. We might have something that has blinded our eyes. But if you take the blindfold out, you will see the room is full of light. Listen what it says in John 3:19 and 21. It said, in this there is no condemnation, that the light is coming to the world, and the men love darkness rather than the light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that doeth evil hated the light, neither come to the light, lest their deeds should be reproved. But he that doeth the truth cometh to the light, that his deeds may be made manifest, that they are wrought in God. Matthew 5:16 said, let your light shine before men, that they might see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Romans 13:12 says, the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Acts 26:18 said, to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the power of Satan unto God, that they may receive forgiveness of sin and the inheritance among them which are sanctified by the faith in me. Ephesians 5 says, for ye are sometimes in darkness, but now ye are light of the Lord, and walk as children of the light. For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth, proving what is acceptable unto God, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of the darkness, but rather reprove them. God protected you in the dark so that you can expose what happens in the dark. The reason why the enemy wants y'all so bad is because you know how the enemy works. You cross so far on the other side that you can expose the kingdom of Satan. Because you went hard for the devil know you didn't go hard for God. Because you did a lot of dirt in the dark, and God forgave you and brought you to the light. Now the darkness is still wanting you to come back. They miss you. The darkness missed you over there when you was angry and crazy and confused and hopeless and bitter and popping drugs. The darkness always wants you back. Come back to the misery. Come back to your pain. Come back to your confusion. Come back to your brokenness. But when you realize that when I was in the dark place, God protected me. That God protected me when I almost gave up. And there's somebody here who almost let go. You almost threw in the towel. You almost took your life. You almost surrendered it all. You almost acted a fool. You almost gave up on yourself. You almost gave up on God. But in the midst of your hopelessness, God said, I'm still here, baby. I love you. Said, I love you. I see you mad at me. I see you questioning me. I see you doubting me. But in the midst of listen, when I didn't understand God or why I was going through what I went through, he showed me Psalms 119, 105 is one of my favorite scriptures. I hope you remember it and write it down. He said, listen, the word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. And in my darkest places, God was my way maker. He was my provision. He was my protection. He said, you can walk by faith and not by sight. Because even when you can't see, I can see. He's the lamp to my feet. That means he shows me what's near me. He's the light to my pathway. He opens up and shows me what's ahead of me. God said, even if you're in the darkness, God said, I will illuminate what's close to you. You can still see the snakes by your feet because I'm a lamp to your feet. You can still see the valley and the mountains and the stumbles because I am the light of your pathway. I'm all that for each and every one of you. I protected you in the hood. I protected you in the streets. I protected you at them house parties. I protected you when you was in them strip clubs. I protected you when you was selling drugs. I protected you when you was in jail. I protected you when your family turned against you. I protected you in that car accident. I protected you when disease attacked your body. I protected you and I used it for your benefit, for your glory, to make you stronger, to make you wiser, to make you somebody that you can give a testimony to. The test made you have a testimony. I tell God, thank you. I'm closing with this. Me and my mama love this movie. It's called Hacksaw Ridge. And when it was dark, and they thought the battle was done for the day, here was this young man who had enough faith in God to not carry a gun. All he needed was his Bible. And in the cover of darkness, he was dragging folks, saving people. And the one thing he said is my motto from here on out. When he didn't have nothing left, he used all he could to drag them to safety. He would look to the sky. I wish some of y'all saw this movie. He would look to the sky and say, one more, Lord. God, just give me the strength. I can't save everybody on the battlefield. But Lord, give me the strength for one more. They thought the man was crazy. He even brought some Japanese people to the side. And God, I can't save all of Phoenix. I can't save all of Arizona. I can't save all of my family. But God, if you just help me to keep getting one more. We started with 5 members. We started renting on the south side. But if we just keep adding one more, we ain't got to try to reach and get 1,000 next Sunday. But if every person can say, let me help you bring one person to church, God. If each one of y'all got a goal is that I can't get everybody to come to this church, but God help me to get one. If 2021 go by, at least be able to say, Lord, I brought one person. That was one person that the devil had, and I brought them out of the dark place. And this is what Pastor Petey told me, boy, it blew my mind. She said, some of y'all don't mind running folks off because you never invite nobody to come. So you never labored nobody to come here, so it don't matter to you who come and go, because you never labored nobody to keep nobody here. But you feel a certain type of way when you done did all this witnessing and all this laboring to get people to come, and then folks run them off. You feel a certain type of way about that. Because you help get them here. And then folks who don't bring nobody here don't mind running off. They don't mind being devilish. But if everybody took that charge, one more, Lord, that my goal for 2021 is to bring somebody to Christ. Get somebody baptized. And even if they don't stay at this church, they go find a church home somewhere else. You can declare, God, I got my money. The doors of the church are open. Don't give up just because it get hard. Don't give up just because your resources get thin. Don't give up because it didn't happen the way you expected it.